So Mark Harley talks to Redbar, Mike David, Redbar Radio. We're gonna be watching it from Unique's channel because I am not subscribed or I'm not, I have never paid for Redbar, but I know who Redbar is. I know the stuff he puts out. I like him. He's pretty funny at times. We're gonna be watching Unique Entertainment, also used to be called Saizon Z or Super Saiyan Z or whatever he's called now. So, also Unique, also another enemy of Brendan Schaub. He was also once upon a time being sued by him. I don't know if he still is now. I know Unique is a bit of a controversial person. I know that. Uh, Look, regardless, we're gonna watch this shit, and I'm gonna pause it from time to time.
Did you learn about this firing? How quick was it?
What I think actually was an example of like a sort of little dust up that happened before, but there was a series of these little things where I'd kind of push back and stand up for myself. And generally speaking, like I wouldn't be speaking on this if it was like if I felt like I was the only person who ever experienced this, but know that if I say something, it's probably indicative of a general pattern of if you see people leaving, it might be because of the way that their boss is treating them and it's less than respectful. And I've
Wow.
listed off, we've had discussions before where I go, hey man, I feel like you're disrespecting me. And he goes, well, how so? And I'll list off like 10 things. And then he goes, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I'm like, no, it's not about being sorry for, I want you to
Sure.
address, is this indicative of you not liking me or thinking I'm a bad employee or what? Like, because he would pair things like that, I love you, but, and then shit on me. And I'm like, let's.
So, look, to add some context, I'm gonna be pausing it throughout the video. So he's referring to when he got fired. Brendan said a couple of people got fired, and Mark was one of them.
Let's get to the bottom of this. What is your actual perception of me? Because I feel like you're subverting me.
And this is with you and Brendan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, to Brian's credit, Brian was very, very supportive of me. And I felt like he actually went out of his way to like try and understand me as a person. So that's really all I can say about him. And me and him had a couple dust ups actually, but he was always very careful to like, if we had an argument, he'd come to me and pull me aside and go, hey, I didn't like how that went down or whatever. And I do respect that he was able to handle that kind of confrontation with a direct and final apology rather than, well, we both kind of had it, oh, well, I was mean, but, or whatever, the case may be. Now, I got fired actually because I couldn't come in on a Monday.
There you go, Brian, being a good guy. I just, every time I see Unique, the position he has his camera is like me, it's like me doing this. Let's talk about this video. Oh my god, it's just so funny to have his camera angles kind of kooky.
For Schaub show. Now, come to find out later that Brendan had actually taken me off the payroll for Thick Boy, like after our last disagreement. I didn't realize at the time, but he wasn't paying me to be there for the Schaub show, in which I take pictures, I annotate quotes during the show. I kind of just help, produce the show in a minor, like a PA, I guess.
Sure.
But, I'm just there. I'm one of the hands on deck. Just going, let's get these quote cards out as soon as possible. I write the episode description. I write the title. Sometimes I do the thumbnails, stuff like that.
That's a lot of work. I'm telling you, that sounds like no work, but I hate doing that kind of stuff.
Video.
That stuff could take you 2-3 hours.
But obviously, it doesn't take 2 or 3 hours to make a thumbnail. I make it within like 5 minutes. Crop some the image out, the background, and then put another background on it, and then put your text. It's not that hard. It's 2 or 3 hours. It sounds crazy.
Do stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like I like learning that stuff, but it's not. I think people can see it as insignificant or kind of, oh yeah, you just make.
No, it's not insignificant. Trust me. Even as simple as we have to pick the thumbnail for each episode. That could take an hour. And it can be very grueling, frustrating, tedious.
He hates Schaub so much. He went on Redbar and 9,000 people will see this because he'll strike down half his clip channels. He hates Schaub this much.
You use this word careful. I've always
live. Are you there? And even whether you're employed by him or your friend that he feels like he has control over.
You know, I never understood Redbar. Why is he just paid subscription? Why is he like that? Like, why doesn't he just put his stuff on YouTube? Maybe it's because he'll get copyrighted a lot. Maybe it's that reason. Maybe he's got a better, better handling of the money that's coming in, in his pockets. Just concentrating on a certain fan base. So I guess that's probably why he does that. Because I would think that if he's on YouTube, he'll get more exposure. But I guess he didn't like that exposure because I remember his name, Joey Diaz was threatening him, with a bad time and threatening his life. And I guess he might have got spooked a little bit.
Because maybe you open for him or something like that. The moment he gives you money of any sort or does anything, there's a feeling like he owns you for the rest of your life,
Ooh.
right? And tend to not like that if they value their autonomy. So I didn't text him back for a few hours. I did it deliberately. It was stressful for me because he's hitting the group text. He's texting me privately. Like he sees that I had read the text message. He goes, Mark, this is silly. Just text me back. Just let me know. I have to hire a whole other editor. So he made this crisis out of it. Like, I had to hire a whole nother editor because you didn't come. And I go, by 10 p.m., don't tell me that you'd hired some other guy who's already starting working. You couldn't do it. And I even said the next.
It's crazy to think that Mark is an editor. I would never thought, from being a actor, and a fitness guy, and now he does like editing for I would think that it would be like Chin doing that stuff. But maybe just Chin does the video editing and the video capturing stuff on video and doing the transitions and whatnot. But I didn't think that he would be doing all the other stuff. I would think that Chin would, do the descriptions and the thumbnails. What the hell? That's weird.
Next day when he said it in the group chat, he finally woke up and saw I'd been sending all these reels. He's like, yeah, Mark, I don't know. We had to hire someone else, man. You went MIA and you really fucked us. And I go, well, okay, so you hired somebody else. How much did you pay them? I'll cash app you right now. I'll reimburse you. So that wasn't enough. And then he keeps going. He's like, this is just not how it's done, like blah, 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 really laying into me. And I go, I think if you just got all the work that I did, I basically worked for 15 hours straight after giving you a reasonable excuse and getting my shift covered in the morning. If you're concerned about me not texting you back for a few hours after I'm offering to pay, maybe you have your priorities backwards. And of course, he didn't like that. So it escalated to him just going, yeah, man, I'm sorry. This isn't working out. I can pay you for February, which, we'll see about that. There's a lot of.
He still hasn't paid.
I won't be paying for a lot of these things, but this time I'd had other issues before where he kind of like blamed it on me, or he go like, other people are saying this, and then I go to them and apologize and say, hey man, if I did something that upset you, or if my behavior in any way, but it was always about me and him, because everyone else at Thick Boy is great. Everyone else that I've worked with there.
Okay, so you would say your relationship with Brendan is not good. You got a sour taste in your mouth about working with these guys here. Would you go back to working with Fighter and the Kid if they apologized for this? Never. Okay,
never.
So,
whoa. Okay, there we go. From best friends right online, doing stuff together, working out, and then the money issue comes involved. It becomes involved in their relationship, and Brendan doesn't want to pay Mark for all the hard work he's done. I don't know all the hard work he's done, right? Supposedly, according to Schaub, he didn't do enough work, and he hasn't paid him. That's kind of crazy, and it's been known sort of online, because whenever Brendan does some sort of bet, he tends to not pay the other person, like Theo Vaughn and even Bryan, recently, and then Bryan coming out and telling him, hey bro, you still haven't paid me. So what the hell, you know?
Maybe, is there anything else that he said maybe to the public that we assumed was a lie? That he said, you know, was totally, you know, legit? Is there anything that you heard?
Well,
You know, there was that thing with Bobby Lee. Remember this big incident where he said he had all these documents, 300 pages of files. What was that all about?
Well, I would describe that broadly.
Oh, there we go. Here we get to the spicy stuff, because remember, a while back, Brendan claimed he had this evidence that Bobby Lee was behind the Fighting the Kid subreddit. He was the whole mastermind behind the subreddit. And you know, Kalila once, you know, she said once upon a time that it was all just BS. It was a bunch of you know, just a bunch of what's it called, HTML, you know, code, what's it called, script, and it's just not. There was nothing really there, and and I think she also kind of mentioned that he kind of might have gotten scammed, because even he himself didn't even know what it was. He couldn't even explain it.
As like, if you had a choose your own adventure, and you just, and like at each step there was like just the worst possible step you could take, you know, it's like, and you could either, you know, go in the door, or you could stick your hand in the wood chipper, you know, it's like, I'm gonna stick my hand in the wood chip. Then it's like, you could call 911, or you could shoot yourself in the foot with a shotgun. I mean, you're like, I'll shoot myself in the foot with a shotgun. So that's kind of what it felt like at 10 different steps. But the main question I think that people have is like, is this 300 pages of evidence real?
Yeah, yeah, is it?
Has Brendan seen 300 pages of evidence? I think he may have been told by that, but like, or told about that. And I'll just try to be specific here, because the speculation is that none of this ever happened, right? Or like that it was a complete fabrication.
Sure.
Right? It's not a complete fabrication in the sense that I believe he believed that he had this information that Bobby was somehow connected to the subreddit.
Sure.
Let's just say, you know, in a theoretical world, I don't know, maybe if you were looking to get a subreddit taken down,
holy shit,
maybe you might hire some unsavory people. Maybe those unsavory people, you know, in this theoretical scenario, are scamming you. Maybe they're real, but maybe they're scamming you. Maybe they're passing on information to you as a rube who doesn't know anything about computers, claiming that they're making progress in taking a website down that you, in this theoretical scenario.
So you never saw 300 pages of documents. You never saw him carrying a big book.
I never saw it, and he never saw it, but was passing it on as if he had, because
wow.
Now, do I believe he was told something to that effect? Yes. Do I think that?
There you go. Honestly, he could have got scammed by somebody. And it's funny because you know, Brendan has said that his dad works in tech and he's a security guy, but he couldn't go to his dad and maybe, like, I don't know, talk to him about it and conversate about the situation. Maybe his dad even told him there's not really anything there, like it's just a bunch of people hating on you, son. Like maybe that kind of talk. But it also benefits Brennan because a lot of people go and watch his clips and spread around whatever he says. People go and they clip it, so it in a way it also incentivizes Brennan to even have the subreddit on, keep it on, and not really, you know, try to remove it, because it benefits him, honestly. Even though it's negativity, sometimes bad negativity is good for ratings, right?
Brendan's easy to take advantage of because of his naivete and unwillingness to sort of look into and confront the factual reality of certain scenarios. Yes. So now let's take it to that step where you go, okay, if I came to you and said, Redbar, we have evidence that, you know, Mark Harley is running this hate group online against you.
Yeah.
You necessarily call me up and go, hey, motherfucker, I know it's you, yada, yada, yada. Like, you know, I'm going to beat your ass, this and that. What you might do, if you actually believe that, is say, you know, store that information in my back pocket.
Sure.
And just It could be true, it could not be true, but I'm just going to sort of suss it out.
So he just heard about that 300 pages. He never really saw it, and then he just used it when he needed to kind of explain.
Correct.
Wow.
That's part of this pattern is like.
Yeah, he just kind of, yeah, I can see. Yeah, we've got a lot of guys like that. Now, I really want to ask you this. You know, Brendan.
There you go. I think it was more of a, that whole evidence thing was more of a fear tactic to try to maybe scare them into, I don't know, stopping whoever it was. And he specifically blamed it on Bobby, but kind of backfired on him because, you know, Bobby went on the H3 podcast and spilled everything out and said he was getting bullied by Bryan and Brendan, and being the cover boy for this subreddit. And once the subreddit heard about it, it gained so many more people to follow that page. And now everything's coming out. I mean, even the guy that used to work with him here, Mark Harley, he's against him now. So he's another guy who's, you know, he's another homeless cat now. And it's funny to think, you know, because I heard recently he's gonna have an AMA on some Sunday, whenever I upload this, I don't know, but on Sunday of this what's the date? February 12th. He's gonna do an AMA, and I might check it out and see what he responds. So guys, let me know about this whole thing. What your you know, thoughts about it, because it was kind of crazy. I mean, a lot of people, you know, not a lot of people, but certain people do tend to like sway away from him, you know, and this kind of exposes Brendan a little bit further for not having good work practice and not paying his former employees of what they, you know, or, you know, they have to make and earn. And it's kind of funny now thinking about that the kid that he hired, George, because now he's a stand-in for Mark. Maybe he's maybe doing a better job than Mark, because Mark is probably doing other stuff and you know, doing the whole acting stuff and the fitness stuff, so it might get in the way for him, you know, for him to do the podcast stuff. So probably a better idea for George to be on there, but completely destroyed their friendship with Mark because of not paying him, and I guess victimizing him. And you know, a while back he was defending him relentlessly on the social media when the whole Bobby Kalila thing and Brendan thing came out. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna end it right here. I think I went a little too long, so I'll see you guys later, and don't forget to comment and subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next time.